Your thoughts are like a new puppy, okay? If you don't watch it, if you don't take it for walks, it's gonna shit all over your house. So, today we're getting into the limiting beliefs and negative thoughts that are holding you back from reaching your potential and achieving your goals. By the end of this video, you're gonna understand how to identify your limiting beliefs, how to challenge them, and how to replace them with empowering thoughts that are gonna lead the way toward your goals, your dream life, your dream identity, everything you want. Hello, and welcome back to another Mindful Monday with Merlina, the series where I share a weekly intention to help us all level up together. And this week's intention is all about overcoming limiting beliefs. Little fun fact, I made a video on limiting beliefs last year. It was episode 1 of season 1 of the podcast. But with some tech difficulties and everything I've learned since then, I figured it was time for an updated version of this very important topic. So let's dive into it. I hope you guys love this episode. And we're going to start by defining what limiting beliefs are. So, limiting beliefs are those deeply ingrained negative thoughts and beliefs that subconsciously keep you from taking aligned action. Aligned action is the key to achieving all your dreams. And these limiting beliefs often stem from fear, anxiety, insecurity, and they can completely hold you back. Okay, please ignore the lighting. The sun's been coming in and out behind the clouds. We're just going to go with it. Now, limiting beliefs, they're called limiting beliefs for a reason. They limit you. And we are not carrying these into 2025. So I'm making this video so that you can start the year off strong. So grab a notebook because we're about to do some inner work. So the first step to overcoming limiting beliefs is awareness. You can't fix a problem that you don't know is there. The same goes for your limiting beliefs, okay? I said it at the beginning. You really have to pay close attention to your thoughts, especially when you feel scared or anxious or stuck. These feelings are often signs that a limiting belief is at play. And this is where mindfulness comes in. Your thoughts are like that new puppy that I mentioned, right? If you don't pay attention to them, they're going to cause chaos. They're going to run wild, okay? So mindfulness is about observing your thoughts without judgment and becoming more aware of what's going on inside your mind. It is about catching those negative thought patterns in the act and asking yourself, like, wait a second, is this something I really want to believe? Is this even true? And how can I reframe it? And by the way, if you want to see a full video on mindfulness, go ahead and comment mindfulness because there are so many practices that I absolutely love that can help you strengthen that self-awareness and practice mindfulness on a daily basis. So if you want to see that video, comment mindfulness and I will make that video for you very soon. But that's a topic for another video. So let's get back into challenging the limiting beliefs. So when you think about your goals, you might feel some resistance. You might start hearing that little voice inside your head telling you like it's unrealistic or you're not good enough, you're not smart enough. Those are limiting beliefs, okay? So I want you to pick one. I want you to identify one and just keep that in mind. You can write it down or you can just hold it in your head for now. And step 1 is to reframe it. So what I love to do before I turn this belief into an affirmation, I like to just start by stating the positive opposite. This is the easiest way for me, at least, to kind of get rid of that resistance. You can also start by asking yourself, like, is this fact or fiction? I'll get into that a little bit later. For example, let's say your limiting belief is I'm not worthy of my dream career. You identify this belief and you're like, hold on, I don't want to believe this anymore. So start by negating it. So I'm not worthy of my dream career would become I am worthy of my dream career. Simple as that. You just remove the negative. And this might feel unnatural at first, but stick with me, okay? This is the foundation for rewiring your thought patterns. From there, you want to take that positive opposite and turn it into a powerful, empowering affirmation. For example, it could be something like, I am resilient, I am resourceful, and I am so deserving of success and everything I want for my career. And the whole point is not to like magically erase this belief overnight because it's not going to happen. It is to start creating new patterns in your mind and your subconscious. Affirmations work because they plant seeds of positivity in your mind. They start to sort of like rewire what's going on in here so that your thought patterns become more positive. Now, even if you don't fully believe them yet, repeating these affirmations helps your brain shift away from those negative beliefs and towards something more empowering. So once you have this empowering affirmation that you've created, repeat it daily if you can, okay? Especially when that limiting belief comes up. The more you repeat it, the more you convince yourself. Write it down, say it out loud, think it in your mind, do what you need to do, okay? Visualize it. The more you repeat it, the more you sort of like hammer it into your brain, the more your subconscious starts to accept it as truth, and that is the key. I want to add here that, like I mentioned, writing it down as well. There is actual neuroscience behind this, suggesting that writing things down down can reinforce and even create new neural pathways in the brain. When you physically take the time to write something down, it engages different regions of the brain. So that includes the motor cortex, right? Because that's involved in the physical movement of writing. It engages the prefrontal cortex, that's focus, decision making, higher level thinking, right? Because you're choosing and structuring your thoughts. The hippocampus is also engaged. This is like storage of memories because you're internalizing this new information. And it actively strengthens the connection of neurons. And this is why journaling and writing is so effective, right? Writing down your new beliefs solidifies it even further. And not only does writing, like the act of writing, help to clarify your thoughts, but it also makes them more tangible and it allows your brain to prioritize and internalize them more deeply. One way I like to think about it, and this is a little less sciencey than what I just said, but it's like when you take a pencil, right? You are literally bringing your thoughts from your brain into the 3D, into reality. Like, I'm gonna get off on a little tangent here. This is something I always thought when I was little. I was like, how is it possible that I'm thinking something and then words come out onto the paper? Like, I was always so fascinated by that. And to think about it now, I'm like, holy shit, it's because like I'm literally bringing my thoughts into physical reality. But let's get back into it, okay? So here's the thing. Rewriting your limiting beliefs, right, and creating a new pattern in your brain is not a one and done kind of deal. It takes time, it takes repetition, it takes consistency. And here's why this process, everything we're talking about today, is so important to learn. It's because limiting beliefs, they never go away. I'm so sorry to break it to you. They never go away. They just don't. What happens is you get better at recognizing them and challenging them. But I always say this, with every new level we reach, every time we level up, new limiting beliefs show up. And sometimes old limiting beliefs show up, okay? Sometimes old patterns just resurface because it just happens. That's just how it goes. But I'll give you an example of this. Let's say you've achieved your dream body. You're stronger, you're healthier, you're more confident than ever. You fucking love how you look in the mirror. And then new limiting beliefs pop up. You're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're like, what if I can't maintain this? And that's why it's so important to sort of master that skill of identifying and reframing these beliefs. Let me grab some water. So every time a limiting belief sneaks back into your mind, and I promise you it will, use this exercise, okay? Repeat your positive affirmations. And you can think of it as kind of training your brain to walk a new path. So every time you take that path, it becomes easier until eventually it's kind of like your default route. And don't get discouraged if it feels like weird or forced at first. That's okay, because it is weird, right? It's not something that you truly believe. And that's completely normal. Changing these long-held beliefs is a skill. It is a practice and it requires some effort and time. So be patient with yourself. Now, before I end today's video, I want to go back to something that I mentioned earlier. And this is very important to know that most limiting beliefs are just feelings. They are not fact. And I learned the fact or feeling exercise back when I was doing therapy from a therapist who I absolutely loved. She was amazing. She had such good tools for like self-discovery and self-awareness and stuff like that. And a lot of what I've learned from her. But I really want to encourage you to try this exercise for yourself, just because it's so interesting to see how many of the beliefs we're holding are just feelings and they're not real, okay? Meaning that just because something feels true doesn't mean it is. For example, let's say you want to do public speaking and you have this thought like, I'll never be good at that. I'll never be good at public speaking because you did a spelling bee once and you messed up. I don't know. It might feel true, right, because of past experiences, but that doesn't mean that you're incapable of improving or succeeding at it, or even becoming an expert at something. So when those feelings arise, pause for a second and ask yourself, is this fact or feeling? And I've come to find that the majority of the time, it's just a feeling, okay? It's not a fact. It can't be proven. It's just a feeling. So here's your challenge for this week. I want you to identify one limiting belief that's been holding you back, reframe it by turning it into the positive opposite and then turning it into an empowering affirmation, and keep repeating this affirmation to yourself every day if possible. And like I said earlier, especially when the limiting belief comes up. And if you do this consistently, you will start to notice a shift. That is a promise. I'm not going to give you an exact timeline, okay? Because it really depends. It really depends on how strongly your mind holds this belief. It really depends on how convincing you are to yourself. There are a lot of different factors at play here, but consistency is key. Over time, this limiting belief will start to lose power. Your affirmations will start to feel more natural and your thought patterns will start to change. So changing these limiting beliefs not only affects that limiting belief alone, it starts to change your entire thought pattern because you start to look at things differently, right? Your perception changes, your mindset changes. That's what all this work is about. It's not just about reframing this one belief. It's about building a habit of challenging and replacing any belief that no longer serves you. And last but not least, remember that growth is a journey. You're not failing when those limiting beliefs creep back in. You're human. It's just another opportunity to practice the skill and strengthen your mindset, okay? Another thing, your limiting beliefs do not define you. They're outdated stories that your brain has been writing on autopilot. And the great news is, like I said, you have the power to rewrite those stories. And you can actually literally rewrite them, right? Like that's what scripting is all about. But essentially, when you rewrite these limiting beliefs, it's going to help you step into that higher version of yourself. It's going to help you align with your highest potential. It's going to help you align with your dream life. So I'd love to know what limiting beliefs you're working on. Share it in the comments if you feel comfortable with that. I always love hearing from you guys. You can also DM me if you want to do it privately. I'm at the Merlina Azul on Instagram. And whether it's about your career, relationships, your health, your personal life, anything else, I want to cheer you on. So make sure to share it. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with somebody you want to level up with. And as always, never forget that the journey of self-discovery and self-development is everlasting. So keep doing the inner work, keep taking aligned action, and until next time, I wish you all the very best in health and happiness. Bye.